Hello everyone, this is Jagrati Soni from Mata Jijabai Government PG Girls College, and today I am going to give a presentation on themes and significance of a farewell to arms. This presentation is guided by Professor Dr. Vinita Solanki ma'am. So now let's begin it. First of all, we will study some points about the novelist Ernest Hemingway. He was a writer uh, and he was an American writer. He born on 21st July 1899 in Oak Park, Illinois, US, and died on 2nd July 1961 at the age of 61 in Ketchum, Idaho, US. His notable works were The Torrents of Spring, The Sun Also Rises, The Old Man and the Sea, True at First Light, etc. His notable award was Pulitzer Prize for Fiction, which he got in 1953. There are three famous quotes I have written here for you about Ernest Hemingway. First one is, all you have to do is to write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know. Next is, the writing is the only progress you make. And the last one is, my aim is to put down on paper what I see and what I feel in the best and simplest way. I would like to inform you about some more important points about Ernest Hemingway. As we know that he was an American writer, his main themes he used in his writing were alienation and war theme. His father was a doctor and he used to bring Ernest also with him, and thus he saw that people around him and pessimism all around him in his childhood. So he had suicidal tendencies, and just like his father, he attempted suicide at his third trial. And his father had the habit of hunting and fishing. Hemingway also had the same habit as he grew up, and he liked to adventures like hunting, fishing, and wandering hither thither. At the age of 17, he started writing. His writing career was began at the age of 17, and he joined as a driver in the Red Cross Society's ambulance. Hemingway loved a manly pursuit, but in this novel we will find one woman also, which whose name is Catherine. And due to, I would like to give one important information about Ernest Hemingway, which is, due to his problem in his eyes, he couldn't join Navy. I mean army. So these are the basic points about Ernest Hemingway. Now we will move to the next slide, which is about Farewells to Arms. Year of publishing of Farewell to Arms is 1929. The whole story, the whole novel is written in past tense. Setting time is 1916 to 1918, mid of the World War First, and setting place is Italy and Switzerland. Protagonist of the novel is Frederick Henry, and sources of novel are war between Italian and Austrian, World War First. You can see pictures here about Farewell to Arms. We will study the characters of Farewell to Arms one by one now. There are many characters in the novel, but we will study 5 characters basically: Henry Frederick, Catherine, Priest, Dr. Rinaldi, and Miss Gwen Campen. So firstly we will study the character of Frederick Henry. He is the protagonist of the novel and a young volunteer of Red Cross Society. He also worked as an ambulance driver in the Italian army. See, the novel is the semi-autobiographical elements we will find in this novel, and as the Hemingway also joined the Red Cross Society at the age of 17, he became the driver of the ambulance at there. So we will find in this novel that Frederick Henry is also a young volunteer of Red Cross Society. He also worked as an ambulance driver in the Italian army. In World War First, he is the code hero of the novel. He is a sufferer in war and love both, and also suffers from psychological wounds. Henry is Hemingway's hero with physical injury and emotional wounds. He is completely alienated and completely engrossed in war, and portrays himself as a man of duty. So this is the major character of the novel. And next and very important character is about Catherine Barclay. See, Catherine Barclay is an English nurse who falls in love with Henry. She is very beautiful and perhaps the most sensuous heroine in all literature. When the novel opens, she is in grief and she is mourning for her dead fiancé. Catherine is Hemingway's perfect woman. She is a faithful, passionate lady. She is the symbol of consistency. She is a lady of women virtues and idealism. Initially, she tries to seduce Frederick and ultimately she falls in love with him. Next character is about the priest. So, I would like to give you information about the priest. He makes an appearance in the second chapter of the novel. Hemingway has not given any name to him just to show or emphasize his insignificant role in the novel, means he is not so important in the novel. His duty in the war was to console men in their last moment and performs the last rites when the people are dead. He is misfit in the army and his main concerns was love and life. The army men used to tease him by inviting him to the brothels, but he is good natured and does not mind. Next character we will study about is Dr. Rinaldi. He is a surgeon in the Italian army, very mischievous, who loves women and alcohol, but he was a skilled doctor and he believed in the earthly pleasure and doesn't prefer true love. He enjoys performing surgery, taking it as an enjoyable challenge. Initially, he presented himself as a lover of Catherine. So, this is all about Rinaldi. And the last one is Miss Campbell. She was the superintendent of nurses, means all the nurses of Milan, in which Catherine was working. She was very strict, cold, and was an unpleasant by nature. She was against Henry and get his leave cancelled, means he was not able to walk, but she cancels his leave. So, these are the characters of the novel. Now, we will move on to the significance of the title of the novel, which is Farewell to Arms. So, we will study all these characters one by one. First is dual meaning. It is the title which arrests the reader's attention. Arms has been implied dual in meaning. Arms either signifies the weapons used during the World War First, and it can be regarded as the cruel hands of fate which deprive Henry of his beloved Catherine. Means he and Catherine doesn't get married at the end of the novel. So this all showing dual meaning. Next is Henry's sudden participation in the war. Frederick Henry, as an American, is a hero of the novel who was serving in an Italian ambulance in World War I. What has brought him into the war is not specified in the novel. He hasn't joined the war because of the democracy or any other causes. Perhaps he volunteered for service in the ambulance because of some undercurrent of humanitarian sympathy. Next is Sufferings of Henry. We will find in this novel Sufferings of Henry also. It is worth noticing that Henry at first is not afraid of war, saying, this is the quote by Henry. So, look at this. Well, I knew I would not be killed. Not in this war. I did not have anything to do with me. It seemed no more dangerous to me than the war in movies. But it was not a movie. The horrible burst of fire was not a romance. Then he said, I wish to God it was over though. The war gradually shapes itself to a show of devastation, and Henry himself gets severely wounded during the ditch operation, and it takes several days to get Henry recovered of this injury. So this is also a significant, this also plays a significant role in the title of the novel, A Farewell to Arms. Next is the Caporet retreat and disillusionment of war. The Caporet retreat and disillusion of war sees us in the climax. As the fierce war grew more violent, many people, women and children, along with other necessary household goods, were loaded in carts with which were traveling in columns in order to find a safe place under the blind shadow of night. Henry witnessed the whole drama and expressed his views in hatred of war with Gino, and that courage, honor, and glory were just hateful abstract words for him. These words had lost their significance before him. So, this also plays a significant role in the title of the novel. Next is Henry's farewell to arms. The retreat of Caporetto infuriated the Italian generals, and they issued a verdict to kill every person who was responsible for retreat. The brutal military police was killed, the innocents without completing their justification. Henry decided to take every possible step to secure his life, and he jumped into the river, and the show was over for him. Although he bid a farewell to weapons, yet he welcomed love, and his love for Catherine had been transformed from lust to spiritual adherence. Means when he knows, come to know that Catherine is pregnant, so he becomes very serious about a woman known as Catherine. Next is another farewell. The unmarriedly married couple is living a satisfactory life in Switzerland, but when Catherine is to give birth to her child, some severe complications take place, and Catherine begins to hemorrhage, and Henry has a bad another farewell, a farewell to his beloved and his child. So this is another farewell, and this is also this may be called as symbolic in this novel, and this also keeps a significant role in the title of the novel. Next we will move on to the themes in the novel. See, there are basically 8 themes in the novel, and we will study all these 8 themes one by one. First is love. Love is a dangerous in farewell to arms. In the middle of the war zone, everyone can die at any moment, breaking the hearts of the loved ones left behind. Yet the characters in the novel risk it all to be both good romantic lovers and good lovers of humankind. Like all humans, they make mistakes and sometimes aren't the lovers they want to be. But as long as they have breath in their bodies, they keep on trying. They keep on trying to love even with tragedy exploding all around them. So this is a very famous and the most important theme in the novel, which is love. Next is warfare. Set mostly in Italy during World War I, A Farewell to Arms becomes the horrors of war, while giving a human face to those involved in it. The characters work ceaselessly to hold on to their hopes for happiness while doing right by their brothers and sisters in arms. Ernest Hemingway's description of war is precise and historically accurate, but his characters are intensely human and contain a variety of views and counter views. The colorful dialogues provoke us to join their debates, and in doing so, further define our own views about war. So, this is a warfare theme. Next theme is man and masculinity. A Farewell to Arms shows men fulfilling what are often considered traditional men roles or even stereotypes. They drink hard, fight hard, play hard, and commit heroic acts of bravery. However, as we get to know them better, their masculinity is revealed as subtle, complicated, and individual to each man. All in all, the men in this novel are human. They love, they suffer, they hurt, they hope, and sometimes they even break. So this is the man and masculinity theme. Next is women and femininity. They aren't there aren't very many women in Farewell to Arms, but the ones we do meet are unforgettable characters. In many ways, they fulfill traditional female gender roles or even female stereotypes. They are all either nurses or prostitutes. Yet, as they to uh, try to find happiness or do the right thing in a war torn world, they transgress and challenge gender roles, revealing themselves as simply human, flawed, breakable, strong, daring, and often full of love. Next is courage. The characters in Farewell to Arms push bravery to all limits as they try to do the right things in a world breaking apart before their eyes under the pressures of war. They are brave enough to embrace what happiness they encounter. They even try. Each such embrace causes them to doubt their own bravery. Happiness seems almost obscene when pain and suffering are all around you. The nature of courage and the nature of cowardice are interrogated in Ernest Hemingway's sensitive and provocative tragedy. Next theme is language and communication. The characters in A Farewell to Arms struggle for understanding through effective communication, and we struggle right along with them. The novel shows that in times of war, this struggle is intensified. Effective communication can mean the difference between life and death on the battlefield. Pages and pages of stunning dialogue bring communication down to a very personal level, and because it's Hemingway's what's not spoken or directly communicated is as important as what we are directly told. This modernist classic and Hemingway's style is in general continues to influence literary, journalistic, and even personal modes of communication. Next is foreignness and other. A farewell to arms often neutralizes differences springing from differing political and geographical identities. At times when one group or man is firing on another group of men, such differences surge to the forefront. The novel features an American man and an English woman who meet in Italy during World War I. They both work tending the wounded during World War I, and when there is pain involved, we are all from the same country, the country of pain. But pain is not the only thing that neutralizes foreignness. In Ernest Hemingway's tragic romance, love doesn't even better job. The novel is a loving portrait of Italy and its people, even the foreigners. Next and the last theme is drugs and alcohol. You could almost get drunk just reading this book. There is a booze on almost every page, but it's not just for show. The novel has some surprising views on alcohol which provoke us to examine our own views. One of the most provocative issues in the novel is the use of alcohol on the battlefield by soldiers as a temporary or partial buffer against the nightmare of World War I. The novel also examines alcohol as its used to buffer against heartbreak or loss. The drinking can be at times hilariously funny and at the other times tender and tragic. And that's part of the beauty of Ernest Hemingway's brash, yes, yet sensitive classic. Next is conclusion. A Farewell to Arms is a masterpiece by Ernest Hemingway. As we have studied his characters, themes, and significance of the title, we have come to the conclusion that it is actually a masterpiece by him. It is more than a title. The scornful calamity, the dreadful spectrum of the dead bodies, mental agony, and physical impairity are the outcome of courage, glory, and honor. The title is to keep the false ambitions of war at an arm's length and promote peace. So, thank you for now and bye to all.